Chris Cuomo, who, he got kicked off CNN in disgrace. He's got a new gig now. Here he is admitting, and Chris is a Democrat, obviously, right? Admitting that Fetterman struggled and wondering a bit about his health.
Voters, I think, saw things that will definitely change the state of this race. It's not his fault, but Lieutenant Governor Fetterman struggled. And again, I'm not faulting him for it. I don't think his preparation was great, but he clearly is dealing with health issues that affect his ability to process and his ability to speak. Now, in politics, you absolutely have to be able to articulate and argue and convince. So how you say it matters. Sure. But the basic issue is the brain function intact? Do you have the ideas? Can you form the thoughts? How do you break down those two different ideas?
So in the brain, cognition and language are separated, but there's so much interaction between them. So it's hard to say whether his memory, his executive function, his ability to make decisions based on the information that he receives is impaired.
Okay, so what's interesting about this, and there's a reason I showed you a Chris Cuomo clip. Look, I'm not a big fan of the guy. I think he was a terrible anchor on CNN who got most things wrong, ran cover for his brother who was governor of New York. Obviously, he's a Democrat activist, but I want to show you that occasionally these guys, sometimes something is so obvious, right? It is so in your face that they have to acknowledge it. So again, it's like, he's right about the communication part. Even if I disagree with all of Fetterman's ideas, which I do, if he could articulate those ideas clearly, if he could say, these are the things that I believe in clearly and calmly explain them, then we could have an honest debate of the issues, right? This reminded me a little bit, in a way, of the Florida debate that I was at 2 days ago, because on one hand you had, and again, my cards are on the table. Obviously, I like Governor DeSantis, but he can clearly lay out what his policies are, what he has done, what he believes. And then you have someone on the other side who will literally say anything, nothing to do with being with the truth. So that's one version of it. And another version of it is you have Dr. Oz, who clearly, and we're going to show you a couple clips from Dr. Oz in a moment. You have Dr. Oz who clearly and calmly lays out his beliefs and his policies. And then you have a guy who simply cannot do that. That is an asymmetry that is just very weird. Where, flashback 10 years ago, you'd have a Republican and a Democrat. They could both communicate. You had a sense of what they believed for the most part, and they could go at it. Now we're having these crazy debates where either people can't communicate, or they lie about everything, or they tell you that they didn't do the thing that you know that they did, et cetera, et cetera.